Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. Guys, this is your quick tip of the week. So this tub has a trip lever and is slow draining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to snake or cable out a tub that has a trip lever. So what we'll do now is material and tools. Alright, this is the material and tools list for this job. So latex gloves, a Ridgid snake. This is a 1/4 inch cable by 25 feet long. Multi-bit screwdriver, and then a cordless drill. Guys, this is all we need for material and tools on this job. So let's get started. So when it comes to any slow draining fixture, I like to fill up the fixture part way and see how long it takes for the slow draining to start. The reason I do it this way is because if it drains well for 10 or 15 seconds, more than likely the trap is not the issue. So you can skip that part and move farther down the line. So I noticed the trip lever on this tub is not running smoothly. A trip lever has a plunger that you lift to drain the tub, otherwise it'll normally be closed. This is ancient technology, but if you come across this, at least the idea is that you're going to know how to go about it. So like with a typical tub, the overflow plate needs to be removed. So this is a trip lever, but the trip lever actually acts as an overflow as well. So be sure before you take any screws out that you block the drain so you don't lose something down the drain. And yes, I've done this before. There are two big slot screws that need to be removed on either side of the lever itself. So just take a screwdriver and remove the screws, and then the drain assembly can be removed. This is the trip lever assembly. So the lever is where the cover is. It has a couple rods, and then it has a plunger to block the drain. So the first thing to notice that there's no hair or anything to signal any type of a blockage with this specific trip lever. So because this is a tub, the trap arm length is going to be 6 feet maximum at 1.5 inches. So you don't really need to go in all that far. That makes this job relatively quick and simple. Also, this being a tub, what you're looking for is hair. That's what's going to be the typical blockage for either a sink tub or a shower. So when it comes to cabling out a drain, what I like to do is go in 6 inches at a time, hit the trigger on the drill, and there's also a handle on the cable itself that you can lock it in place. And then I like to go back and forth, a pumping type of motion. This is going to move the head thoroughly every 6 inches. Guys, check out the card. I've done an overview for the DIY version for cabling out drains with this specific tool. When pulling the cable out, it's basically the same thing. I will pull it back 6 inches and then once again do a pumping motion to move the head back and forth inside the drain. I highly recommend use a cordless drill because you can get a good amount of RPM on the cable and do a thorough job. Besides that, if you have tendonitis like I do in my hands, it gets really painful to try to do this manually. So pulling the head of the cable out, there's nothing on the cable. I went down about 6 feet, which is telling me that there is no blockage in the trap arm. So after pulling out the cable that had nothing on the head, I believe this is a problem with the trip lever itself. So what I did is I cleaned it up and I greased it up a little bit, and now I'm going to reinstall it. Guys, check out the card for how to fix a stuck trip lever, because I go into more detail in that video. Reinstalling the trip lever, once again, block the drain. I like to tighten the two screws back and forth together, and also make sure that the actual lever is aligned properly. I think this was part of the problem because it was out of alignment. It was off to the side. Besides it not looking nice, it was also really hard to get it to function. With the lever up, the plunger is down so the tub is blocked. So I'm going to fill up the tub a portion of the way, just enough to get a good visual on how well the water is going to drain out when I test it. You don't have to go a huge amount of the way. You just need to be able to see the water flow clearly when you pop the drain. So now I'm watching the water flow down the drain. I'm looking at the rate. I'm looking for a little tornado right at the drain. I'm also listening. With the water draining out, if you have a nice sound going down, that means you have a good amount of flow. And this is something that I'm also going to generally look for or listen for when I am testing a drain after I've cabled it out. So in this case here, there was nothing actually down the drain. The trip lever itself was out of alignment. It was stuck, and I don't think it was just moving far enough to get the tub to drain properly. So in this case here, there was nothing actually down the drain. It was the trip lever itself that it needed a little bit of TLC to get it back up and running again. So when it comes to a tub, whether it has a trip lever or not, you're going to go through the overflow. So the trip lever acts as an overflow for the tub, but you're not going to be able to get a cable down the drain in most cases. The head of the cable is either too big, or if you have an indirect drain in 90s back, it is too tight of a bend for the cable to go down. Alright, so this tub is now back up and running. When it comes to clearing a tub, this is a simple job that you can definitely do on your own with minimal tools. You don't have to go very far, so the risk of the cable getting stuck or any issues arising will be minimal. Guys, that is your quick tip of the week.